Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence in this case will show shortly after getting into his car, the defendant called his girlfriend to let her know that he would be late. While on the phone, he took his eyes off the road to look at the construction of a building he designed. It was at this moment that he came screeching around a turn and the plaintiff, Suzanne Winters, was in his path. He slammed on his brakes. The impact of his car was so great that it threw Ms. Winters off her bike. I will ask you to make the defendant pay for the injustice that has resulted from his negligence. Thank you.
Hi there. I'm Professor Blackmore, and I want to welcome you back to the ProfessorBlackmore.com Trial Lawyer Trick podcast and to part 2 of our training series entitled OneNote Litigation Automation for Attorneys and Paralegals. And as you can see, things are heating up in our auto bicycle accident case entitled Winters versus Ramirez. And if you want to get caught up on all of the steamy details of this case and how we started off by working in our OneNote law firm notebook, please watch my prior part 1 video in this series. But today, honey child, we're going to continue the pretrial litigation phase of this case as we prepare to take the deposition of the police officer who reported to the scene of the accident, Officer Daryl Harrison. And to do this time, I'm going to take you inside of the ProfessorBlackmore.com OneNote deposition notebook template. And if you'd like to purchase a copy of my pre-made OneNote deposition notebook template, please visit me on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. And today, I want to talk to you about the ability to use OneNote to insert numerous types of notes in your OneNote deposition notebook, including handwritten notes, audio notes, and dictation notes for all different types of deposition purposes, organized all together in one place. Now, doesn't this all sound very exciting? Well, let's get started. And as stated, we're continuing on with our Winters versus Ramirez case example, and in connection with the facts of the case, we are representing the defendant, Mr. Ramirez. And so, as you can see, here I am in my Winters versus Ramirez deposition notebook. And as you can see here, you start off with the index here of the notebook, which I have provided links to every section and page in the deposition notebook so you can have access to each one of these sections just by clicking on the links. And I show you how to make these links at the very end of my OneNote motion hearing notebook course. And so, if you'd like to purchase a copy of my course, please visit me on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. And I go through all of the things that are included in my OneNote deposition notebook in my OneNote deposition notebook course. And you can find my OneNote motion hearing and my OneNote deposition notebook course and my OneNote deposition template and my OneNote motion hearing template, all available on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. And the thing that is so great about OneNote is that the next time you have to prep for a police officer deposition, all of this prep is already done, and you can just copy this entire notebook into your existing case and just tweak it a little. And since we're preparing to use our OneNote deposition notebook to take the deposition of the police officer, Officer Harrison, the first thing that I want to talk to you about is the flexibility of OneNote allowing you to take handwritten notes during the deposition event. But first, I want to highlight the Buckland's Building Trial Notebook resources that I use to build my OneNote e-trial notebook templates as well, which are also available for purchase on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. And as you can see here in tab 10 of our OneNote deposition notebook, it includes a deposition bank with the excerpts of these Buckland's Building Trial Notebook resources. And I'm going to want to refer to these resources to build my list of deposition questions and exhibits in anticipation of our deposition of Officer Harrison. And so I'm going to go down here to tab 10.3c for the motor vehicle accident police officer question resources from the Buckland's materials. And as you can see, it has a rolling list of all types of questions that you might ask to a police officer in a motor vehicle accident case. And so I'm going to want to go out to the page in my deposition notebook here in tab 4 that is reserved for my deposition questions that I want to prepare for the deposition. And all of these sections that you saw in tab 10 are also available here in tab 4 for quick access. So I have a extra copy of the police officer motor vehicle accident questions list here as well. So it'll be handy right here in this section while I'm working on my list of questions. And so I just want to go down to this list, and what I'm going to do is, based on the facts of my particular case, I'm just going to go down and copy and paste questions from this list into my questions list for starters. And I also like to use the Professor Blackmore's yellow pad, OneNote yellow pad notebook, my traditional, what I call my traditional yellow pad notebook as well, because later on I'm going to be using my Samsung Note 7 to take handwritten notes during the deposition. And so I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I like to use my ProfessorBlackmore.com traditional yellow pad notebook, and I like to create 2 columns so that I can put the questions on the left hand side and leave the right hand side over here for when I am ready to write in my handwritten notes during the deposition. And so I would just go through that Buckland's list of questions, and that is what you see here. I've already taken some of those questions out and I've put them over here on the left hand side. And so my questions right now are on 2 pages. So I got my page 1 here, and then here is my second page where my questions are continued. So after I go through and select some questions from the Buckland's Building Trial Notebooks questions list, then I would add to these questions by including fact-specific questions that relate to the specific facts of the case that may not necessarily be reflected in the Buckland's questions bank. And as you can see here, in the interest of time, I've already prepared some of these questions from the Buckland's Building Trials Notebook list. And then I have a few questions here highlighted down here below that I added on to that list as well that may be fact specific, because in this case, I may want to highlight the fact that the plaintiff who was riding on her bicycle had a stop sign when the client, defendant, Mr. Ramirez, had the right of way at that particular intersection. And so I'm going to add some questions to that to ask to the police officer as well. And so this is what my sample list of questions will look like. And so again, over here on the left hand side are my questions, and I like to leave this place over here on the right hand side for my handwritten notes. And again, most of these are questions that I've taken just straight from this Buckland's Building Trial Notebook resource bank, and I've just added a few fact-specific questions here. And now I'm ready for the deposition. And so again, during the deposition, I'm going to be using my Samsung Note 7, and I'm going to be taking handwritten notes as the police officer is answering questions during his deposition testimony. And so I wonder if you might consider making your own OneNote deposition notebook, or if you might consider using a OneNote e-trial notebook at your next trial. Please let me know by leaving your comments in the comments section below. And if you found these tips useful, I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And please also consider donating to this video and to my channel by using the ProfessorBlackmore.com Cash App. And I want to also ask that you please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more business and law office productivity tips, including OneNote law office productivity tips. And if you'd like to purchase a copy of one of my OneNote deposition notebook templates, or my OneNote e-trial notebook template, or if you'd like to purchase the full version of this training, please visit me on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.